Alright guys, welcome to the video. So this is just going to be initial thoughts, my and reaction to the CENT rework, which we will get to play in the testing grounds on the 29th of this month until the 12th of the following. So you will get to try them out too if you want to. There's also Gladiator buffs and changes and Warlord buffs and changes, and we'll just go through what we see. CENT a bit more so because there's more to talk about with him, and Glad and Warlord, you know, briefly enough, not too long on those guys because they're not insane changes, although I'm sure we'll have something to say about them. Let's just get right into it now. So first off, it looks like we have a feintable zone, feintable on after the first hit, feintable after the second, so you can feint this zone. I'm not sure if it's 500 or 600 ms now. If it's 600 ms, it will be a mediocre option select, so CENT has an option select zone now. I'm not sure the GB vulnerability on it either. I think it's not 100, I don't think, so it won't be up there with the really good option selects in the game, but you will have a option select. If it's 500, obviously a little bit better than a 600 ms zone option select for parries. Not bad, good change, obviously better than it was before. Now also it looks like we have got feintable UBs being unblockables, so you'll see them demonstrated here. There it is, so you can feint your unblockables. It's a pretty decent feint, it should be relatively convincing. Looking for a reaction from the opponent. Now his light attacks, the changes to those, what was mentioned was light, all 500 ms now. So again, I'm not entirely sure what his chain lights are now. Are they 600 in chain? I'm not sure, but if they are buffed up to 500, obviously they're usable. Not particular, you know, nothing special. There's going to be no real insane pressure off them or anything like that. It's not going to be like Nusha, so it could be like a Rochi or anything. It's just 500 ms standardized light attacks. Now you'll see here that the pin no longer guarantees the knockdown, so F for Centurion cutscene, you won't be able to fully charge the punch, knock him down, Quinter Eagle's talent, so the full traditional cutscene you're familiar with is gone. But what they have done for that is make his punches feintable. So you can feint into guard break, you can let an early punch go, or you can charge up the punch. And it looks like you can feint it early, you can feint it pretty late, so you can almost use it kind of like a Warden bash, Hidakiri's mix up. It will be that kind of style of orange mix-ups, which means he's going to be good in 1v1. It'll force a reaction from the opponent. Looks like pretty solid mix-up. His kick wasn't really mentioned, so there may be no change to that. I don't know yet, but in ones, Centurion is going to be much better. Now, just speaking on these changes, my kind of how I feel about it, he'll definitely be much better in ones. That's quite obvious. He has the new zone option select. He can feint his zone, he can feint his punches, he can let a quick punch go, let a full punch go. The full punch will give a knockdown for the Eagle's talent. The short punch will give a guaranteed light attack, and the punches in between, or the timings in between, you can feint into guard break. So obviously pretty good. He does lose his guaranteed knockdown on pin, his charged pin, which you're all really familiar with, which means that his ganking is his easy access to pin gank is gone. Pin gank to knockdown is gone for 4v4. So if you want to knock someone down for a gank now in Dominion, you're going to have to find a way to get access to your charged punch, which your teammates can set up for you, but it will give about 90% revenge. We also don't know how different the knockdown is going to be. Right now on knockdown, if CENT knocks you down, everyone's just going to wail on you, you're going to die, you can't pop revenge. I think, not entirely sure if it's revenge locked, maybe not. Someone check me on that. But even if it is or isn't, you, depending on the knockdown wake up, you might be able to block a second heavy or something like that, and you'll only get one heavy off it. Like ganks have been going that direction for a while. My concern with the heroes, his chase will be quite weak still. His team fights will still be weak, so the character would have to operate like a duelist slash ganker in fours if he's to be viable. So his gank does need to be pretty decent. And his ones needs to be really strong if he's going to be tournament winning level character, or viable for tournament wins, winning team compositions. Overall, I'm relatively happy with it. I would like to see a little bit more done on the character. But I mean, most Centurion players will be probably happy with that. I mean, it was quite difficult to get damage before. Let's check out Gladiator and Warlord. Anyway, in the meantime, on the 29th, we'll get our hands on it and we'll all get to try it for ourselves. All right, so here we have the Warlord buffs. So his light attacks are now enhanced. So enhanced light attacks has been a recent trend on characters trying to give easier access to their chains and kind of go in and sustain offense or get in there more often, as a light will allow you into your chain now, and so will a heavy without having to whiff a light attack. I mean, it's a nice little change, but it's no game changer. Light attacks now have increased range. That's pretty good. A little bit underrated. Having extra range on lights is quite nice and can be periodically useful. Just ask Shinobi players with their double lights. The top light attack now deals 18 rather than 17. I don't know if that's still 600 MS, but if it's still 600 MS, I mean, that's kind of an irrelevant change. Side light attacks, openers now deal 15 rather than 13. That's pretty good. 13 on an opener light is really, really low, particularly on like a character, let's say a 500 MS light. 13 is pretty weak. After that, you have your top light finisher, now deals 18 damage. It was 20, so small nerf to that, with buffs on the damage on the opener lights, as well as giving more range and enhanced. So overall, his light attacks are boofed. Heavy attack finishers, uninterruptible stance and heavy attack finisher now starts at 300 MS. Now, what the devs mean by uninterruptible stance is hyper armor. What we call that. So 300 from 400, this will make it much easier for you to change. I'm not a fan personally for Honor game design to have earlier hyper armor in attacks. I think it's a little bit too easy to trade in the game. That trend does seem to be continuing with this, but I mean, Warlord players will be happy with it because it is certainly pretty good. And then after that, there's the full block stance stab. The tracking on the stab from full block stance has been adjusted so that it will land more often. That's pretty much it for Warlord. It's kind of underwhelming. I would like to have seen a bit more imagination go into the character. I would have liked to have seen some stuff with his full block stance done, or a new mechanic added to him. He does feel like you know, the way that Raider, Raider, Warden, and Kensei are kind of the vanguards, and vanguards are supposed to be very simple characters, but Warlord feels super simple. He feels like he's a vanguard, like he's one of the very, very simple heroes. He plays more like a fortress rather than someone who's going to, you know, push you forward, like a fortress who kind of whittles away at your health with his headbutts, etc. I would like to see a bit more imagination go into his full block. I'd like to see them do something with it, something special with it. It'd be really cool. So underwhelming. It's a buff. It's not going to be a game changer for Warlord players. Now we're on to Gladiator. You guys don't know, but I love Gladiator. I actually 21 reps him, but that's from way, 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 way long ago. I really would love this character to be viable. I'm looking for a new hero to play at the moment, but I'm only playing Raider just for tournament reasons. So I'm playing a lot of Raider at the minute. That's why I was playing a lot of Zerk last season for tournament reasons. But the season before, or before that, was JJ for tournament. Well, he was for fun and tournament reasons. I quite enjoyed him when he came out. Zerk too was pretty fun. Raider's kind of for me personally. I'd love Gladiator to be able to do a lot more with his dodge attacks and stuff like this. But let's look at the changes. His reflex guard, the big one, is now 1100 MS rather than 6. No, it wasn't even 600 MS in game. That number isn't accurate. It was less in the game. It was really, really, really bad. But 1100 MS now, that's great. I mean, you're not going to get blown. You're not going to have to, like, let's say Highlander throws a heavy, you put out your guard for the indicator, your guard is dissipated, you have to refresh your guard again to block the same heavy from the same side that he just put out. So reflex guard being 1100 ms is a great change for the quality of life of playing the character, and of course the viability of the character. His previous guard was absolute garbage. It was a joke. Skewer, they've added forward movement during the strike and the feint. I'm not sure what the goal of that is. I didn't get to hear him explain it, but I believe, I mean, hopefully right now with Gladiator Skewer, I'm not sure how many of you know, if you early dodge, you see him go into Skewer, you dodge immediately to the side, you can counter the guard break, and that same dodge will also dodge the Skewer. What that means is that the Skewer mix-up offers no pressure on early dodges, which negates the pressure from that mix-up. Maybe this changes it. Having more forward movement during the strike is nice. Maybe you'll be able to use it externally if it's a lot of forward movement, like Jedge's unblockables. Maybe you can use it to put pressure on people in team fights. We'll see. Then after that, another quite large change for the character, chained light attacks. Second, third, fourth of the top light are now going to be 433 ms from 600 ms. That's a huge speed buff for that particular move. Second, third, fourth on side light attacks are now 466, which is also huge speed buff for the side lights. So that's going to mean it's 466 ms, which I think is Orochi's current top light from neutral and zone from neutral, so going to behave like that in your difficulty dealing with them. Although Orochi's top lights and zone would be better than these side chain lights. They do still kind of just prod forward, so I do wonder if their tracking is going to be make them kind of pointless. But we'll see. Maybe you will early dodge and they'll do a heavy instead, and heavy will track the dodge because his heavies aren't too bad at tracking dodge, although I have not played my boy Glad in a very long time. After that is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Fushina Ictus. Strike is now 600 ms when the target is out of stamina. It was 800 ms. So that is the toe stab, I believe. So the toe stab is going to have more pressure on people out of stamina, which is good because it felt like that move was being performed in slow motion when your opponent was out of stamina. That's some nice OOS pressure added, although 600 ms should still be easy to dodge for quite a lot of players. So Glad not having insane pressure OOS there still, although again the Skewer may help if that movement does change that mix up for the early dodge timing. All in all, I'm also underwhelmed by this. I know they kind of touted the Centurion as the main show with the most advanced changes. I don't want to say advanced. You had more in-depth changes than either of these characters. These two characters, Gladiator and Warlord, seem to just kind of got polished up. They got brushed up a bit on a couple of moves here and there, maybe a little bit of tracking, enhanced lights on war, that kind of thing. I would like to see them go all out with the identity that they proposed with Gladiator in the beginning, which is like they always touted it as like a boxer. He's like Muhammad Ali. He's a gladiator. He's playing for the crowd. I'd like them to go all out with that. Make his dodge attacks much better than they are right now. They are terrible. Make his chase pretty decent so people can't run away from him and get away from him so easy with either his forward dash dodge attack or his forward dash dodge light, or he's running heavy with the bamboozle. I'd like to see his side dodge punches be more useful than they are. They're weird attacks to use. You only really use in specific scenarios where, one, you're not going to feed revenge. Maybe it's a confirmed ledge. Maybe it's the only punish you get on reaction to, like LB shove, which you can reaction side dodge shield punch with. Excuse me on names. I am terrible with names and all that jazz. But I mean, underwhelming as well. I want to see him go all out more with Glad. I love Glad personally. I would like to see just go full on with that identity that they developed for Glad and make him stylish as hell, make him strong, and just go for it, dude. That's about it. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on these changes in the comments. You can just spot them all down there, man. I read literally almost every single comment ever on my channel the 2 years that has been up. So I'll check them all out, reply to some depending on the comment. With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Testing grounds on the 29th. We'll all get to see then how these play out, these perform in game, and give feedback on them and stuff. That's the reason for the testing grounds. And with that, I'll catch you later. So you
bass in your raps, but I can't feel that hardcore appeal that you're screaming. Maybe I'm dreaming. This ain't Christopher Williams, still some MC got the feel.